UFC 306 has just wrapped up. This is your Daily Tapouts recap. Let's talk about it. This card was monumental enough that I'm going to go over every card, and it's currently 2:37 in the morning. I'm on the East Coast. The card just wrapped up, and yeah, this is how dedicated I am to getting these videos out. Appreciate it more. Subscribe, hell yeah. Starting off with the early prelims, Raul Rosas Jr. had a successful and a dominant, but an ultimately boring and disappointing performance. I expected him to come out a little bit quicker, even though I knew his opponent was tough, and I honestly had his opponent winning more than he did. I thought his opponent was going to do better, but ultimately a successful fight. Next up, Joshua Van. That was one of the wildest sequences I've ever seen. They both almost finished each other several times. That was a great fight from both dudes. I love Edgar Chairez, but he's got to work on absorbing those body shots. He was having a tough time in that fight, but yeah. Ketlin Souza up next, another beautiful sequence which led to a stunning finish. That back take was flawless. She put Yasmin out cold. Yeah, what a performance. 3 fights in, 3 great fights. Amazing. Next up, I know I'm kind of rapid firing these, but we got Ignacio Bahamondes versus Manuel Torres. Ignacio Bahamondes knocked out Manuel Torres twice in one fight with the same sequence, with the same shot. It was a great read and a great display of fight IQ from Ignacio Bahamondes. He just continues to show that he can be elite when he shows up, and the days he doesn't show up are the days that he struggles. Great performance. Next up, we had our feature prelim, Norma Dumont. Norma was dominant bell to bell and countered Aldana's pressure so well. She fought super well going backwards, and I believe that cut was from a headbutt, but that cut was absolutely disgusting. The cutman had a good run at UFC 306. Moving on to the main card. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne was one of the most hectic 2 rounds in recent memory. I could have sworn Ronaldo Rodriguez was unconscious when he stood up out of that triangle choke. I'm almost positive he was. Then he completely controls the next round and almost gets a finish. It could have been a 10-8 either way for Ode in the first round, and then a 10-8 for Ronaldo Rodriguez in the second. And both fighters had a more conservative third round. Great display of violence from both men, and a really solid win for Ronaldo Rodriguez. Next up on the list, we have Esteban Ribovic. Esteban Ribovic and Daniel Zellhuber went to war and showed true Mexican spirit inside the octagon. That was a back and forth fight, and again, one of the wildest ones in recent memory. This card has put out some bangers, and we're not even done with the card yet. Next up, we have Diego Lopez with virtually a flawless performance against Brian Ortega. He got hit a few times, but he was never hurt, and he arguably gave 2 10-8 scorecards in rounds 1 and 3 where he almost finished Ortega. He called for a title shot post-fight. I like it. Let's do it. He's ready. He's tested. Let's run it. On to the co-main event of the evening. Valentina Shevchenko was absolutely dominant. Valentina outstruck and outgrappled Alexa Grasso for the entire 5 rounds. Grasso had some good moments, but that was all Valentina. Valentina Shevchenko is the women's MMA GOAT. Moving on to the main event of the evening, Merab Dvalishvili was able to take down Sean O'Malley almost at will. Sean was able to defend a few takedowns, but it was ultimately domination on the ground for Merab to secure himself the win. Sean was able to have minimal success on the feet, while Merab was able to dominate on the ground. Merab Dvalishvili is your new bantamweight champion of the world. UFC 306 was definitely an event to remember, and I hope that the UFC is able to come back for another monumental event in the future. This has been your Daily Tapouts UFC 306 recap. Thanks for watching.